Good afternoon. For 4 News Now, I'm Rob King. We're getting an update in the road closures on I-90 from the Gray Fire. Reminder, that's the fire that's burning in Medical Lake. About 10,000 acres, 10% containment. I talked to Jordan Smith earlier, and he said crews are hopeful that that containment will increase today because of the favorable conditions as far as humidity in the air and some forecasted rain for later today. But with new breaking details in the I-90 closure, we'll go live to 4 News Now's Natalie Grant in Cheney. Natalie is live with those details. Natalie, what do we know?
Well, Rob, I'm right here, right outside of downtown Cheney against the 904, which has been the detour spot for all that traffic that's been rerouted from I-90. But just moments ago, we got an update from WashDOT officials that eastbound I-90 is now open. Just the eastbound side is now open to traffic, which is very exciting. Reduce kind of this slow traffic that we've been seeing throughout the last couple of hours here. You know, actually, I just looked behind me. Majority of the traffic that we saw that was kind of standstill here has kind of cleared out. Now I'm imagining that is because of the closure that's now open there. But I spoke to WashDOT officials today. They said majority of the day today, they had crews out on the highway that were surveying kind of the safety of it, just because the fire did jump over the highway. There were fallen trees or trees that could have fallen right along the roadways there. And so they were working with some hotshot crews to get those assessed and taken care of. I just got confirmation from WashDOT officials that those trees were removed and the eastbound lanes are now open for people to drive, which is very exciting.
That is good news. We seem to be getting more good news as the day kind of progresses. These fires are still burning in these areas between the Oregon Road fire and the Gray fire. It seems like we are getting better conditions for firefighters. You can see that video on our social media, WashDOT dealing with that tree earlier. I don't know if that fire had burned that tree or if they had cut that one down, but you see that massive tree fall. Natalie, you spoke with WashDOT officials earlier. What are they? They are still working on these trees, correct?
Yeah, Rob, a lot of trees in the last 24 hours, they say a lot of them have been burned or impacted by the fire. And if you go onto our social media, if you see the video that you're specifically referring to, it's this big giant pine tree that they're chopping down and just falls almost right onto the highway. Definitely not something that you want falling on your car. And so they're trying to make sure that when they do open I-90, that it is the safest option possible. And that's what it looks like now for those eastbound lanes. However, westbound is still closed as of this time. Speaking to WashDOT officials today, they say that there is still a couple of hot spots that are burning on the side of the highways. Some of those trees maybe are still being assessed here. So they said that that's probably what's alluding to the closure on the westbound side, but the eastbound side is now safe for people to drive.
Got it. Natalie, did they give a timeline at all on when people can expect westbound lanes to open?
No, in fact, that we didn't even know that eastbound lanes were opening up today, because all of those decisions, he says, have been kind of coordinated through the incident management team that is kind of taking a handle on the Gray fire. So I think they're just kind of assessing things as they come. And once it is safe for people to drive on those roads, they'll open them back up again, because they understand how much of a main traveled area I-90 is. And of course, they don't want to keep it closed for longer than they need to.
Absolutely. Have you spoken with anyone who would normally drive I-90 that's been impacted by these closures, and what have they been telling you?
Yeah, I'm right on alongside of the 904 in Cheney right now. As I said, I've talked to a couple people filling up with gas. They said that it's added, when the traffic was really bad out here, about 45 minutes to their drive. I talked to one woman who was coming from Tri-Cities going to Spokane, and she said that it was just crawling along there. So hopefully a lot of this traffic through Cheney now will be opening up now that the eastbound lane is open there. But I know a lot of drivers, especially this morning, probably when they were going to work, this is the first time that a lot of those commuters have had to deal with these impacts, being a Monday morning here. So hopefully things will be looking a lot better here as we get closer to getting this fire under control.
Yeah, if we'll recall, the fire originally jumped I-90, but it seems like crews are getting a better handle, at least on that side of where the fire is, on the Cheney side of I-90. We do know the evacuation levels for that northeastern side, kind of directly north of Cheney and east of I-90 at the interchange there. That has been downgraded to level 2, which still means be prepared to leave at a moment's notice, but at least it's not get out now, which is level 3, where most of those evacuations are in the Medical Lake area. So again, that's more progress. It's more signs that firefighters are continuing to work on this. Natalie, is there anything else you want to add?
No, just that there's a lot of traffic going through here still, as you can see. I know I spoke to some Cheney residents who said that kind of funny seeing all these big trucks headed back through Cheney. One man telling me that this used to be the route that people would go before the I-90 was open. So hopefully they'll get a little less congestion in the next couple of hours here.
A little flashback to older times.
Exactly.
Before the major highways. Well, Natalie Grant, thank you for joining. I'm glad we could share some good news with the community, and thank you.
Absolutely.
And be sure to follow along on our social media pages for the latest in breaking news. It's also a good time to remind you to download the 4 News Now mobile app. That's where you're going to get the latest breaking news. We will push out notifications as they become available, so you're able to get that information on your community as soon as possible. So we will provide more information as it becomes available, but for now, live in studio, I'm Rob King for 4 News Now.